Thank you. So we're going to quickly cover a couple of tools that you can then go away and practice with. And these tools are part of the overall suite of tools that you'll find in your journals. And this is a bit of a summary of them. And over the next few weeks, we will be going through some of these. I'm not going to dwell on this on the moment because we're going to crack on. So just thinking about setting a goal, have a little think to yourselves, why might setting a goal be a good thing? So in your own heads, or if you're with somebody else, just think about why setting a goal might be a good thing. Okay, just spend a minute doing that. Jot down anything that comes to your mind if you want to. And then if you want to share in chat, and we'll all share at the same time so everybody can contribute. So people around the table, just get ready with a comment, which we'll type into chat. People on the computer can get ready to type into chat. So why might setting a goal be a good thing? Okey-doke. So if everybody wants to pop in that in chat, some of the reasons I've thought of. So just add it now. So Harry, something to give you a motive to change your life, gives you something to work towards, keeps you on the right track. Any comments from the room? Yeah, so something to help you achieve it, motivates you to do what you said you were going to do. Makes it tangible, you've written it down, you've thought about it. It's cool. Rihanna, any comments? Yeah, motivation to do it. So that's brilliant. So we've come up with a little thing that allows you to set a goal, and it's more likely to be achieved if you have a think about these 4 elements to it. Because quite often I hear people saying they're going to do something, but it's not very specific, it's a bit vague, and whether they do or not is another matter. So if you think about these 4 parts, so what is it you will do specifically? So think back to your daily spiral you did earlier and think about the thing that you said you were going to do today. And just be really clear about what that is. So what will you do specifically? So jot down on your bit of paper, what is it you're going to do? And be specific about it. So you could explain it to somebody and they know exactly what it is that you are going to do. And this could be something really straightforward. If it was you're going to go and make a cup of tea for your mum, it could be, something really simple. But it's about being specific. And the other important bit to add to that is, when will you do it by? So it's all right saying you're going to go and make your mum a cup of tea, but when are you going to do it? Is that going to be at 6 o'clock when she gets home from work, for instance? So give yourself an actual time and date if it's in the future, and be very specific about what it is. The third part, it might seem obvious, but how will you know you've done it? So if someone's coming to check up that you've done this thing, how will somebody else know that you've achieved it? Have a little think about that. So what will you do? When will you do it by? How will you know you've done it? And the final one, which a lot of you might not have thought about before when you're setting goals, but probably the most important thing, is how will you celebrate? And that doesn't mean having a party because you've made your mum a cup of tea. It might just mean giving yourself a little bit of a high five, a pat on the back, a thumbs up, whatever little way that you can think of to note down the fact that you've achieved your goal. It might be you've got a load of sticky notes on the wall and you can tick one off, and that gives you a celebration. So it's thinking about those 4 parts, being specific, giving yourself a time frame, how you know you've done it, and thinking of a way of celebrating. Now, some of your goals might have been a bit bigger, and your celebration might be a bit bigger than a pat on the back. But think about something that you will use as a celebration of the smallest goals. Okay. So research has shown that when success is more likely. So there's been lots of research done by a company called GoMad Thinking, and some of these tools have been taken from GoMad Thinking. We've been working together with them, and they did lots of research, thousands of hours of research into people who'd made a difference and succeeded in their goals. And what they found was that success is more likely if people have a goal that they're moving towards. So this is thinking about something in the future that you want to do and you are going to do, rather than moving away from something. So first of all, having a goal, which you all set this morning when you did your daily spiral. Another part of the framework that they came up with was a strong reason why. So what is the reason why that you want to do this thing? And sometimes thinking about the reason why, you get through the less obvious reasons, and then you get down to the more nitty-gritty reasons when you think a bit more deeply about what are the reasons why. And I'm going to give you a chance to practice this in a minute. The third part to think about was the self-belief. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you're going to achieve this goal? And then, as we said before, celebrating the little wins. So we put this together in something called the internal triangle. And you can make these up for yourself on anything that you're planning to do. So we're going to have a little practice, but just as a little run through, you see your internal triangle over here, you've got your goal, something you want to achieve, and the 4 parts to that goal. The specificness of it, when you're going to do it by, how you're going to celebrate, and how you know you'll have done it. So you've got the goal, you've set this goal that you want to achieve, and then you've got all your reasons why. The stronger the connection between your reasons why and your thing you want to achieve, the more likely it is you'll achieve it. So digging down into your reason why will help you achieve your goals. And finally, at the top, you've got your self-belief. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you going to achieve your goal? Because if you're saying to yourself, this is the goal I'm going to achieve and these are my reasons why, and you say to yourself, how confident am I I'm going to achieve it, and your answer is 2, the chances of you achieving that goal are pretty slim. So we've got a little arrow there between 5 and 6. So you need to be saying to yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, that goal is achievable before you move on to planning it. And it may mean you need to adjust your goal. So that's got a question. Your internal triangle. Yeah. Okay, so if you come up with a goal and your self-belief is 1 or 2, then you would go back to looking at your goal. If you think about the 4 parts of it, what actually is it? Have you given yourself a bit too much to do? Have you given yourself enough time? Do you want to adjust your time? Maybe you need to increase how you're going to celebrate. You could look at your reasons why. Have you really dug down into your reasons why? Do you really want to do it? Is it somebody else's goal that they're giving you and you don't really want to do it? And that's why you're at 0 to 1. Because if you're not over a 5, the chances of you achieving it are very slim. So you can always go back to your goal and adjust it. It's not setting a goal in stone. It's more defining what your goal is and then being flexible around it, because things change all the time. Yeah, that's cool. So you can have a practice at doing this, and also just have a think about every single person's got their own internal triangle. So if you're asking somebody to do something for you, you are effectively asking them to set a goal that you want them to set. So then you've got to think about, from their point of view, what's their reasons why for getting involved in your goal? What's their self-belief? How might that work? So if you imagine everybody's got an internal triangle for absolutely everything that happens at any time, and it's about people setting goals, the reasons why they want to set them and the self-belief. So you can have a little practice now at doing your own version. So just grab yourself a blank bit of paper, draw your own triangle, and have a think about something you want to achieve. So it might be something from your daily spiral, or you might have something else that you're thinking about now. Now, we're not thinking at the moment about the big dream, because we're going to do a breakdown of a big goal in a minute. So this is something that you can achieve over the next few days, something you want to do. So just create your own internal triangle, write down your goal and write down those 4 parts. Write down what it is you want to do specifically. Write down when you're going to do it. Write down the evidence that there'll be to prove that you've done it. How will you know you've done it? And then write down how you're going to celebrate. Check what the next slide was. So there we go. So on your piece of paper, set yourself a little goal. I'll just give you a few minutes to do that. And we're going through this quite quickly. You've got your journals that you can go through. You can look back on this video. You can work through it at your own pace after this. But this is just an introduction to it so that you can have a little practice. So now you've had to think about what it is you want to do and when you're going to do it and how you'll know you'd do it and how you're going to celebrate. Then have a little think about all the reasons why you want to do it. So break that down. What's your reasons why? What's your reasons why, Brandon? What's your reasons why? So work through and you'll get some obvious reasons why. And then you might get down to some other ones when you start really thinking about it. And ask yourself, why else? You're obviously all writing down individual goals with no idea what they all are. But they'll all be very different. And you're all now thinking about the reasons why. So look at your reasons why and think, what else? What other reasons are there? And then put a circle around the one that you think is the strongest reason why. Okay? And then the last bit, which is the only bit that I'm going to ask you to share at this point, is on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you're going to achieve that goal? So look back at what you said you were going to do in its 4 parts. Look at your reasons why and your strongest reason, and then give yourself a mark out of 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you're going to achieve that goal? And then just put that in the chat. So that's the only thing that you need to share in the chat. How confident are you that you're going to achieve that goal? So let's have a look. I can't tell when you put these in. Let's have a look. Sorry, Jordan, I just missed your message. I hope you've caught up. So we got some 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, 6s. All those are good. If any of you are at, cool, we've got a 9 in the room. We've got a 4 in the room. Right, so we've got a 4. So we need to help Kyle. So Kyle's self-belief in achieving his goal is 4 out of 10. So anybody in the room or anybody on the in the chat, can anybody ask any questions and might help Kyle? Anybody want to put anything in chat? Oh yeah, we can see it up there, Kyle. forgot you can all see it. So what things might we ask Kyle to help him get to something that's more achievable? So you might, right, so Harry's saying we need to know his goal. We don't need to know his goal. We just need to ask some questions that could help him decide. We don't need to interfere in anybody's business. So we're going to try and do all these tools without needing to know any details. So this is a really good thing to try and learn. It's really hard because everybody wants to know stuff and then you can get involved and give you advice and things. But actually this is Harry's job to change his goal to make it more achievable. So what sort of things might we ask? So we think about the things that's making up a goal. What might Harry do to not yet. So Harry's suggested, can you give it a longer time frame? So look back at your goal that you've set. What if you give yourself more time? Would that help? So have a think about that. Don't answer at the minute. We'll get some more comments in. So think about that one. Oliver's suggested, I think Oliver's been using the what could I bird. Think of something that you're more comfortable doing and something you're confident in. That might get you in a more positive frame of mind. What else is, so Ben said to be realistic. Sounds a little bit harsh, that, Ben. I think it probably what he means is looking at your specific of your goal. Can you is assuming that your
realistic
goal is,
I mean be realistic.
that's a bit mean, I think. Maybe Harris suggested thinking about a plan, going into more details over what your goal might be, and give yourself some, maybe breaking down in smaller goals, which is like what Matt said. We could be looking at your goal, maybe do an umbrella goal to break it down into chunks. That might be helpful. But thinking of what else makes up a goal? So you've got time frame, be specific. How are you going to celebrate? Could you give yourself a bigger celebration to encourage you to do it?
Smaller celebrations every step.
Oh, breaking it down. And the other element of your internal triangle, what else could Kyle be thinking about? What was the other part of the internal triangle? Strength of what? It's on the screen. Yeah. So look at your reasons why, Kyle, and go through it. What else? What other reasons are there? You've got to strengthen those reasons why. So looking at the time frame, looking at reducing your goal, looking at your reasons why, what's your current, if you can say to yourself now on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you? 6. Yes. Yes, big cheer. So he's gone from a 4 to a 6, so that means we can all carry on and do a bit more planning. And we'll introduce a little tool next week called the elephant story that will help you plan out some of these goals. So that's the internal triangle. I'm aware of the time, so I'm going to whiz on to this one. So this next section is what Matt referred to, and it's probably one of the favourite tools from Kickstart Crew 1 crew, and one of our favourites. You'll see them all around the office. So this is a useful way of taking that big goal and breaking it into chunks. So for Kyle, it might have been useful to do this first and then settle on a smaller goal. But now I want you to be thinking about your big dream that you talked about earlier in your daily spiral. So what's your big hairy goal? So this is how an umbrella goal works. I don't know where I got that from, big hairy goal. Okay, let's carry on. So this is how an umbrella goal works. You basically get your big goal that you really want to achieve, and then think about the elements that you could break it down into. And when you add those up together, you say to yourself, if I did that and that and that and that and that, does that equal the row above? And you just keep going down.
How many big goals would be the top?
No, there's no rules. You could have 20, you could have 3. Yeah, so it just depends. You could have 1, that's fine. It depends what it is, but you've got to be able to say to yourself, does that row equal? And we always actually have a question mark just in case. And this is where post-it notes come in really useful. I'm going to give you an example in a second, that I'm just going to keep going through this. So it's completely your goal. So nobody can tell you how many layers there should be. Using post-it notes is quite useful because then you can move them around and you can completely change it. You can have it on your wall. You can do whatever's useful. And you'll see if you come into the office, you know, we've got one for Think FC, and this is what we use to break down big goals. So you just keep going. Does the row below add up to the one above? And you keep breaking it down until you can get yourself down to an action that's doable today, or an action that you can then set that smaller goal of time frame, celebration. So that's how an umbrella goal works. So I'm going to give you an example that might help. So this was a young lady that we met at a festival who wanted to play football for England under 21s by 2025. That was her big goal. A big hairy goal. And she broke that down. So what I want you to do is think about what you said your big goal was when you did your daily spiral this morning. So you might want to just start thinking about that and thinking about how this young lady did it. So she said to herself, and she's a little while doing this. This is an example from a girl at a festival that we met. So she said to herself, if she'd got her health and fitness sorted, and she'd got her football skills, and she was part of a club, and she'd got some funding and some support, and with a big dollop of luck, she would make it. So she broke it down into those 2, 4, 6 categories, and I think we added a question mark. We did. There we go. There was a question mark at the end, just in case something else crops up that she wants to move around. And we did it with sticky notes, so you could move them all around. So that's what she said to herself. So what I want you to do is think about your big goal that you set earlier and just break it down just to that top line. So we're not getting involved in nitty-gritty detail. You're just getting involved in the overall thing, just like she did there. And you can think about your life, you know, in general as a whole, and add different elements in it, which include what you said earlier. Or you might want to concentrate on one big goal. That's, you know, one of her goals was a specific set of skills that she wanted. So that could be at the top level, but she kind of included all the other elements of it as well. And I've seen people do this for their whole lives as well. So they might include their job, their health and fitness, their family and friends, their volunteering, and their health and well-being. And then they've broken it down into the elements that they want to break it down into. So you can do it any way you want. You can take this away with you, obviously, and do it yourselves with some sticky notes and some paper. This is just an example to share while we've got this bit of time. So what she did then was thought about those different elements. So under health and fitness, she broke it down into sleep, food and exercise. Under her skills, she had various skills that she wanted to learn in football, or she broke it down into. Yeah, she was already playing for a club. Under club, she put it down to kit, training and subs and the matches. Money, she broke that down into a birthday money, a part-time job and a savings. Support, she put down family, friends and fellow players. And funny enough, because she put luck, it was really interesting. When she put luck as a category, and when she thought about, well, how do I make my own luck? And she talk to people, and that's exactly when I think about what we're trying to do with you guys. It's all about connecting, and you will make your own luck in life and make your own connections by connecting with people and talking to people. And she identified that. Yeah, absolutely. So that's what she broke her goals down into, and obviously all of yours are going to be completely different. And I'm just going to invite you to have a go at doing one for yourself, not now, but I've just got you started on it. And you can come back with any comments and any help. So once you've broken it down, you can then come up with your specific action goals, shall we call them. So she set herself a specific goal for preparing a food plan. She gave herself a deadline. She thought about how she would celebrate. She said exactly what it was, so you could tell she'd done it. So that's how she broke it down.
So if the first row is the breakdown of the goal into its subcategories, and it's components for each subcategory, then what's the yellow box?
So the yellow box is the specific action on each one. So for each of the goals that she'd set, it doesn't matter how big your goal is, you can always get down to something to do today. So remember on the daily spiral, something you can do today. Remember when we did the check-in? So the check-in, you thought about an area that a role in life that you had got. You then thought about all the reasons you're at the level you're at. You decided what level you wanted to be at, what that might look like, and then you said you were going to do something. Well, that's a bit like this. You're deciding what it is you're going to do specifically right now against that area. So there's no limit to the amount of breakdowns you can do. And you might have one that's long and thin, or like this, expanded and not that many layers. It really doesn't matter. It's your umbrella goal, it's your life. No one else can do it for you. And they're the ones that she set in yellow. Now I never met her again, but what she did was when we had finished the session, which was up in Newcastle actually, we're in a gallery in Newcastle, she rolled up a bit of paper and she'd done it with her granddad and she took it home. She was planning to put it on a wall. So if anybody wants any big bits of the what do you call that paper? Any of the large sheets of paper or some flip chart paper. Yeah, so we did it on a big bit of flip chart paper with some sticky notes and she took it away. So that was hers. So we're not going to have time for your turn today because we've got another session at 1 o'clock and I want you to have time for a break and all the rest of it. But there is nothing stopping you from whenever you want to allocate some time to sit down and go through what we've been doing today, including umbrella goals. So the final thing that we were going to do, which is going to be slightly difficult today because we've got some in the room and some on screen, is I'm going to just share what a PMI is, but we're not going to do it. PMI is it's another tool to add to your toolkit, and it's something that's just really useful, and it's a quick reflection. So we could do a quick PMI about today's session. Okay, so when you're doing a PMI, the first thing is, what are the pluses? So what were the pluses? Everything anybody can think of. Now, the people on the screen, if you're on a computer, you will be able to go into something called annotate. If you look on here, for you guys in the room, when you're on your computers at home, if you do this again, you go into view options and then it gets to something called annotate. And you click on annotate and you're able to put text in. So in text, you can just write in the box. So what you want to do is everybody have a think about what have been the positives from today's session. You've done daily spiral, you've done check-in, you've come to the office, or you've been on the computer. Any positives you can think of. You've done the internal triangle, you've done goal setting, you've done umbrella goals. You've done an absolute massive amount. Obviously, you've got lots of time for you to go and play with those things. But if you can, in the P section, anybody on the screen can start writing in the pluses only. So a PMI is a little tool you can use just to reflect on what you've just been doing or a problem you've got you want to solve. What are the pluses? So Matt, what have been the pluses from today? Yeah. So somebody's put a reminder of thinking tools, that's cool. Social element of it, seeing people after all this lockdown stuff. What else? Matt? Liam? Brianna? I was going around the room. Brandon? One positive. There's always positives of things. We've got time to do the negatives, but we're going to do the positives first. No positives whatsoever. There will be plenty, and I want you to keep thinking about it. What else? For them? So you've been for a walk and a talk? Yep, cool. What else? What about some of the tools? Which tools do you remember that you think might be useful that you're going to go and practice? Or okay, so Liam, so I'll let you on the computers. Are you struggling to find the annotate function? So setting goals has been useful. Setting myself a goal and starting the day motivated, says Oliver. Kyle, what are the positives of doing today's session? Yeah, getting to know new people. Cool. Anything else? Rihanna? Cool. So you've got the social element. We've got that. Anything else positive about today? You mentioned about earlier on some of the tools you said would help with and human tools. I like that. Human tools. Okay. So feel free to keep up with the positives. So there's always positives in every single situation. Middle bit, minuses. So what are the negatives of today? I'm going to put the internet.
With a £521 car bill. Yeah.
Car bill.
Human. Does that count?
Kyle, what did you just say? Early start. I'm not sure. Is 10 o'clock early?
Yes, it's quite time for me. It's probably not early, but I
So early start. We'll put that. Any other negatives from today? Anybody on the? Has anybody left out there? I can't see you all. Oh, it's partner's birthday. So other commitments. Has it been for anybody in the room? Is that a negative? Anybody on the other side of this screen able to get in? I'm just see check chat if there's any. Oh, why don't you type on it? All right, so Kieran can't type. Yeah, put in here. So Kieran's got now more stuff to think about. That's good. Harry P can't type. Is that because you're on phones and not computers? If you just put your comments in chat, that's fine. So we've done the positives. Think about the minuses, downsides, negatives. And then the final one is what's interesting. This is the hardest one to get your head around, but ask yourself, what if? You know, yeah, what if? Like you said. What, sorry? Events, what, we could have events in here. It's going to be about this. So it's the interesting is you've done the positives, you've done the minuses, and then yeah, what if people read emails? Good one, Ben. I think that could go in the positives for the ones who did and the negatives for the ones who haven't, because every single person has had numerous emails and there's people who aren't on the call. Yeah, another negative, and how to connect with people if you can't talk and see. Hopefully we'll boost the internet so that we can make sure we don't have that fallout and people can put the cameras on. So encouraging people to put the cameras on.
Is there anything that stops everyone coming in, everyone in physically?
So what if everyone came in physically? These are the sorts of questions you can ask in an interest. Yeah, sort of. It's just opening up your mind. Both. So what? Yeah, you could say it was really interesting that we did that. So what about this? Brilliant. So I was thinking about how everyone might use the same tools, but differently. So, yeah. So it'll be interesting to know who then goes away and uses these, because you're in charge of your own lives. These are tools that can help. If you choose not to use them, we're not going to be chasing you up and saying, have you done these? So how many people might take them on and carry on practicing them? Didn't know how to use Zoom. Who popped that one in? Do you want to just, hopefully that person didn't know how to use Zoom now knows a bit more how to use it. So what if everyone came in? You could also have what if everyone was on Zoom? Yeah, what else? Any other interesting points? Who else might we invite? So what if all the partners came too? Interesting thing. A lot of people are working with different partners. Anything else from people on the outside there? What, would it be different? Would you be behaving different if, say, Michael came in from the Hoover shop and he was part of this and he was learning these? If we get you in a nursery working with young people doing football, what if the football coach was in this room as well? So who else might we invite that might find this useful? No one. Yeah, so what we haven't done yet is the what could I bird with everybody. So so normally I know some people did the what could I bird outside, and perhaps they need to get them out. And if they didn't do the what could I bird, they could stay here and we could learn them afterwards.
Yeah, you're there. So we did on the field last week.
Okay, just so you know, if you are on Zoom and you're on the computer, what you are able to do is if you see the little save button there, you can press save, and then anything that you've done on this, you can save, and it will download onto your computer. Just out of interest, if you're ever doing this. So think about how you might use these tools with other people and as part of your role. And I'm going to clear the screen because I have power to do that.